Imagine holding your hand up, turning it over slowly, and noticing a shape that looks like the letter M etched in the lines of your palm. Maybe you've heard whispers about this mark. Some say it hints at hidden gifts, ancient ties, or even a life calling. Today, we'll explore that idea in a gentle, exploratory way. No long lists of bullet points, just a few central themes unfolding naturally. If you're curious about what this mark might mean, and whether there's any truth to age-old prophecies, stay with me. By the end, you may see your own hand in a slightly different light and feel inspired to connect more deeply with what stirs inside you. A note on interpretation. First, a word about interpretation. When we talk about lines on palms, Nostradamus, or mystical connections, we're entering a realm that blends imagination, symbolism, and personal reflection. It's not strict science, but rather a way for some people to explore inner patterns, possibilities, and subtle guidance. If any of this resonates, great. Use it as a prompt for your own introspection. If it doesn't, that's fine too. The point is to open a door to deeper questions rather than lock in rigid answers. Nostradamus and the letter M. Centuries ago, Michel de Nostradamus, better known as Nostradamus, wrote quatrains that people still pore over. Among the many cryptic passages, some interpreters have linked certain images or symbols to lines on the palm. One idea that circulates is that a clear M shape, where the heart line, headline, and lifeline seem to converge, carries a special resonance. In palmistry traditions, that convergence has been seen as indicating strong intuition or an unusual life path. Nostradamus enthusiasts sometimes weave in the idea that such people may be more attuned to currents of change or carry ancient knowing. Whether you accept the classical palmistry view or not, noticing the letter M can serve as a mirror. You might ask, do I feel drawn toward deeper understanding? Am I open to subtle signals in life? The thought of Nostradamus warning those with this sign isn't about fear. It's more like a nudge to recognize that unusual potential often brings challenges as well as gifts. If you have felt drawn to mysteries, enjoyed symbol reading, or sensed a pull toward purpose beyond the ordinary, seeing an M on your palm can become a symbolic prompt. Pay attention to your inner voice and the world around you. Inner gifts and responsibilities. People who notice that M shape often describe qualities like empathy, sensitivity, or an ease with reading moods in others. You might say they feel other people's emotions vividly or pick up on undercurrents in conversations. This can be a gift. It helps in roles that require listening, counseling, coaching, or any work involving human connection. It can also lead to creative sparks, vivid imagination, original ideas, and a desire to express deeper truths through art, writing, or other forms of innovation. At the same time, heightened sensitivity comes with a responsibility. Staying grounded, learning to distinguish your own feelings from those of others, and avoiding overwhelm. If you relate to that, you might feel at times that your energy is easily drained by crowds or intense situations. The M symbolism can remind you, this sensitivity is part of your wiring. Embracing it means developing practices that help you maintain balance, rest when needed, set healthy boundaries, and find ways to channel empathy into compassionate action rather than exhaustion. Cycles of change and the number 13. Another theme woven into some interpretations is the link between the letter M and the number 13. Many see 13 as unlucky, but in esoteric traditions, it often points to transformation, endings that lead to beginnings, and cycles of renewal. If the M shape hints at a distinctive path, the idea of 13 suggests that such a path may involve periods of upheaval followed by rebirth. Think of major life shifts, times when old ways collapse and something fresh emerges. For someone attuned to inner wisdom, these moments, though challenging, can also open doors to deeper insight and purpose. Consider how personal crises sometimes catalyze growth. A sudden job change, a health scare, or a shift in relationship dynamics can feel like disruption. But afterward, you often find new clarity about priorities, values, or talents you didn't recognize before. The 13 symbolism can inspire you to see these turning points not merely as misfortune, but as invitations to transform. If you sense that your life seems marked by unexpected shifts, reflecting on the cycle motif might bring a reassuring perspective. The difficulties carry seeds of renewal, and you may be here precisely to navigate such cycles and help others through similar transitions. Celestial moments. Solar eclipses as activation. In many cultures, solar eclipses have carried weight as moments when hidden forces come to light or subtle energies intensify. Some traditions say the veil between ordinary awareness and deeper insight thins during these events. If you feel connected to the letter M idea of intuitive gifts and spiritual responsibilities, you might view eclipses as symbolic triggers, times when inner potentials stir more strongly or previously hidden material surfaces for attention. Imagine yourself observing an eclipse. The sky darkens, a ring of light appears, and there's a collective hush. Symbolically, this can mirror inner darkness giving way to illumination. For those inclined to introspection, an eclipse might become a natural time for meditation or journaling, asking, what new insights are emerging? Are there dreams, visions, or intuitive nudges I've set aside? While we don't need to literally wait for an eclipse to reflect, using such events as markers helps anchor a practice of checking in with deeper layers of mind and spirit. Even if your locale doesn't experience a visible eclipse, reading about one or marking the date can serve as a reminder. Pause, listen inwardly, and notice subtler promptings. At the same time, intensified awareness can bring discomfort. When subtle material surfaces, old wounds, unprocessed feelings, or unresolved questions, it may feel unsettling. Yet these moments of inner turmoil often precede personal breakthroughs. The key is to meet what arises with compassion. Allow yourself to feel without judgment, seek support if needed, through trusted friends, mentors, or counselors, and trust that navigating challenges can deepen your resilience and wisdom. Ancient echoes, Oracle of Delphi, and timeless wisdom. One evocative image is the Oracle of Delphi. In ancient Greece, people came from afar seeking guidance, and the priestess conveyed cryptic messages said to originate from the divine. Those with the letter M on their palm are sometimes likened to modern oracles, individuals who sense deeper truths, pick up symbolic currents, and can translate subtle signals into practical guidance. This comparison isn't about claiming literal prophecy, but about honoring an inner capacity to tune in beyond surface appearances. If you feel this resonates, you might recognize occasions when you seem to just know something before facts confirm it, or when you notice patterns or synchronicities that others overlook. Cultivating that capacity involves practices such as reflection on dreams, attention to signs around you, e.g., recurring symbols or meaningful coincidences, and developing inner discernment so you can distinguish genuine insights from wishful thinking. Dialogue with like-minded peers or mentors helps refine understanding. Sharing experiences can reveal common threads or fresh perspectives. Connecting with ancient wisdom can also mean studying philosophies, myths, or spiritual teachings that have stood the test of time. You don't need to adopt any one tradition wholesale. Rather, you can sample ideas that resonate, stories of transformation, metaphors about cycles, teachings on compassion and service, and see how they echo your own inner journey. In this way, the oracle metaphor becomes a living process. You become both student and interpreter of symbolic language, applying timeless principles to today's challenges. Hidden destiny and everyday steps. A strong theme around the M mark is the idea of hidden destiny, that certain individuals carry within them potentials shaped by deeper forces or long threads of lineage and experience. If this speaks to you, the question becomes, how do I honor that sense of calling in everyday life? It's less about grand gestures and more about small, consistent choices that align with inner guidance. Begin by noticing moments when you feel especially alive or engaged. Activities that light you up, whether creative work, helping others, or simply being present in nature. These are hints about where your energy flows freely. Cultivate habits that support clarity. Regular times for quiet reflection, journaling to track dreams or intuitive hits, and periods of solitude to hear subtle promptings. Balance is vital. Sensitivity can be draining if you overextend, so build in rest and grounding practices. walking barefoot on grass, breathing exercises, or mindful movement. Another everyday step is service, sharing what you learn or feel with others in simple ways. This might look like listening deeply when a friend shares worries, offering encouragement or perspective without judgment, or creating something, a piece of writing, art, or a small ritual that helps others see a different angle. You don't need to announce big pronouncements. Often it's the quietly offered wisdom or compassionate presence that carries real weight. As challenges arise, which they inevitably will, remember the idea of transformation cycles. When something falls away, ask what remains at the core and what new possibilities are unfolding. Over time, you build trust in your own process, learning that even when life seems unsettled, you have resources, inner and perhaps in community, to navigate uncertainty. This builds the resilience that many traditions associate with those chosen to guide or support others. Integrating symbolic reminders. Sometimes we benefit from external reminders of inner intentions. If the letter M symbolism resonates, you might choose subtle ways to keep it present. A small piece of art or jewellery shaped like an M, collecting quotations or images that echo themes of intuition and renewal, or simply setting aside a daily moment to place your hand on your chest and breathe, recalling the qualities you wish to cultivate. Likewise, exploring the number 13 can be woven into reflection rituals. For instance, at times of personal upheaval, or when noticing repeated 13 markers, dates, synchronicities, pause to ask, what is shifting here? What old story is ending, and what new direction is calling? This isn't superstition as much as a poetic lens for perceiving life's rhythms. If you approach it lightly and reflectively, it can be an enriching practice rather than a source of fear. Observing celestial events like eclipses can also serve as prompts. Mark them in a journal, note feelings or dreams around those dates, and consider whether insights arise in the days surrounding an eclipse. Over time, patterns may emerge, guiding you to trust particular methods, meditation forms, creative exercises, or conversations that help integrate those insights. Balancing skepticism and openness. A healthy approach blends openness with discernment. It's easy to latch onto every sign or assign outsized meaning to coincidences. Instead, treat symbolic practices as invitations to self-reflection rather than absolute truths. Notice what truly resonates in your life and what feels forced. If exploring the M symbol brings up anxiety about destiny or pressure to live up to some grand role, gently step back and remind yourself, the core invitation is to know yourself more deeply, to honour your gifts, and to navigate life with greater awareness. The rest can unfold in its own time. Community and shared exploration. You don't have to walk this path alone. Many communities, online or in person, gather around interests in palmistry, intuition development, or spiritual symbolism. Sharing experiences helps you see where personal insights align with others and where they diverge. This exchange can deepen your understanding and prevent isolation. At the same time, be selective. Choose groups that encourage respectful dialogue, critical thinking, and compassionate support rather than sensational claims or fear-based messages. Embracing growth over perfection. A recurring theme is that sensitivity or intuitive gifts come with trials. Rather than expecting a smooth, heroic journey, embrace the idea that growth unfolds through facing difficulties, making mistakes, and learning along the way. If you feel pressure to have it all figured out, remember, many traditions stress that an evolving path is normal. The M mark may symbolize capacity, not a guarantee of effortless mastery. Real transformation often involves patience, humility, and a willingness to revisit old patterns. Practical support for the journey. Develop a simple daily routine that includes moments of stillness, whether brief breathing pauses, a short meditation, or mindful attention to routine tasks like washing dishes. These small practices strengthen your ability to notice inner signals over time. Keep a journal. Jot down dreams, intuitive impressions, recurring symbols, or emotional patterns. Over weeks and months, review entries for themes or shifts. This builds a personalized map of your inner landscape. Explore creative outlets. Writing, drawing, music, or movement can help express insights that may not surface through words alone. Creativity can be a bridge between subtle feelings and tangible understanding. Seek grounding practices. Time in nature, gentle exercise, or simple rituals. Lighting a candle, drinking tea mindfully. Anchor you when sensitivity feels overwhelming. Connect with mentors or peers you trust. Finding someone experienced in intuitive development, counseling, or spiritual practice can provide guidance and perspective when you encounter tricky experiences. Balance inner work with everyday responsibilities. Paying bills, working, caring for relationships. Integration means weaving insights into ordinary life, not retreating into seclusion, unless a period of solitude is needed briefly. A gentle reminder on free will. Even if certain lines or symbols feel significant, your choices remain central. The idea of a hidden destiny isn't about being bound to a fixed fate, but rather discovering potentials you can choose to nurture. You aren't a passive recipient of prophecy. You're an active agent who can shape how inner tendencies express. In that sense, the M on your palm can be seen as a reminder. You have gifts and challenges woven into your life's fabric, and you can work with them consciously. You decide how to respond to insights, which paths to explore, and which teachings ring true. Inviting reflection. As you go about your day, you might find yourself glancing at your hand and recalling this conversation. What qualities do I want to cultivate? How do I handle changes that feel unsettling? What creative impulse or compassionate calling lies beneath surface worries? Let your palm's lines be a starting point for reflection, not a strict guidebook. Over time, this gentle, ongoing inquiry can deepen self-awareness and foster a sense of alignment with whatever larger flow you sense in life. Closing thoughts. In the end, whether or not you literally view Nostradamus' writings as predictive, the symbol of the letter M on the palm becomes a poetic invitation. It asks, what deeper wisdom do I carry? How might I use empathy, imagination, and intuition to navigate life's twists? How can periods of upheaval transform into sources of renewal? How can I serve others, offering insight or comfort when they face uncertainty? Embracing these questions can itself be transformative. If you've noticed an M on your palm, consider it a prompt, a nudge toward paying attention to subtler layers of experience. If you haven't, you can still reflect on these themes: intuition, cycles of change, creative expression, service, because they matter to many journeys. The core message is human. Life brings challenges and gifts. By cultivating awareness, compassion, and creative openness, you can navigate both with more grace. Thank you for exploring this with me. If something here spoke to you, maybe spend a little time today reflecting. Hold your hand gently, feel the lines beneath your fingertips, and ask, what inner message awaits? Whether or not you find an M, the real journey is about listening to the quiet voice within and choosing steps that honor your unique path. If you'd like, share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. Hearing others' stories can enrich our shared exploration. And if this felt helpful, feel free to like, subscribe, or pass it on to someone curious about symbols and inner guidance. Either way, may you walk forward with curiosity and courage, trusting that even in moments of uncertainty, there is potential for renewal and insight. The lines on your palm may stay the same, but how you interpret them and how you live from that understanding is entirely in your hands.